Full-time score at the Shea Stadium. FC Halifax Town 0, Altrincham 3. That's got a lovely ring to it. Altrincham manager Phil Parkinson joins us. Phil, first of all, congratulations to you and the team for having the bottle to come here this afternoon and put on a performance like that.
Yeah, I think it's really well deserved. I feel we've been on the wrong end of a lot of results, so I've sounded like a broken record for well over a month now. But ultimately, we're very capable of that, and even with their man that was sent off, I feel that we were the stronger team today and thoroughly deserved the win.
Terrific first goal. Great to see Jake Bickerstaff on the score sheet. He's created the opportunity well. It's a good finish, but full credit to Lewis Banks. That's a magnificent jump.
It is, and we asked the lads, can they go the extra mile, because that's what's going to be needed now, putting the bodies on the line more so than they ever had in the past. There's no second chances now. We've kept it alive still. It's still mathematically possible to get in there with Gateshead losing, so we've just got to keep fighting now and see where it takes us.
It was tight going into the second half. Halifax had plenty of possession but didn't really create too much. Caleb's had very little to do. Clearly a key turning point when they went down to 10 men. But unlike Halifax, who haven't taken advantage of that when they've gone down to 10 men against us recently, we took full advantage.
We did. So in these games, there's normally something controversial that's happened, and it normally happens to us. We had obviously the flair in the FA Trophy, the extra time that they got, and then we've had multiple players sent off, haven't we? And fortunately for us, we've been able to dog out a draw on them occasions. So today it was our turn to have a little bit of the rub of the green with the decision. I don't think it was a sending off, to be honest. It's a mistimed tackle. But that one's gone for us, and I felt it was like Sam Roscoe's here when he got sent off. It was a mistimed tackle, and sometimes them things go for you and sometimes they don't, so this time it did.
2 goals for Regan Linney, 1 from the penalty spot, and the third goal, one of the best team goals that we've scored all season.
Yeah, I was delighted with that one. I thought we'd overcooked it a little bit with a pass, but he got it right. We've been talking to the lads about getting on the end of crosses, and Regan was there.
And Lucas Weaver, he'd only been on the pitch a few minutes, must have been tempted to have a go, but he's done the right thing and he's executed the ball very well.
Yeah, we keep asking them to do that. We're showing them all the time the correct decisions that they need to make, and sometimes they get it wrong, but that's why they play at this level. But we get them into the right positions, and fortunately Lucas has chose the right decision at that point.
Got to say a word for George Wilson. I thought he was superb on Good Friday against Rochdale. And for me, from minute one, he was one of our top players this afternoon.
He was. So we needed that from George. We needed a big performance. And he stepped up and he delivered. And he's a very good player. He's had to be very patient this season because of his injuries. And we all know what a good player is. And he's delivered for us there today. He's
one of those players that can change the tempo of the game with his energy and enthusiasm.
Yeah, he's got that drive with the ball, hasn't he, off the mark. And it's hard to stop him when he gets going. So he's a midfielder that's got a bit of everything. You wouldn't pigeonhole him as a holding midfielder or a 10 or an 8. He's just a really good midfielder.
So 2 games to go now, away at Dagenham and Redbridge, and at home to Tamworth on Bank Holiday Monday. It's going to be really interesting. It does look like it's going to go right to the wire.
Well, I've been saying that for a long time, haven't I? So hopefully it does, because that's what we need to happen now. We need to go away and win. A really tricky fixture for us, because they've got to win to keep their sort of season alive and try and avoid relegation. So it's going to be a really tough one. There's some really interesting ties next week. So it's going to be tough, but we've got to go there with a bit of belief and take a lot from this game.
Unfortunately, like everybody else, we've got a good run on it now. 5 days until the game at Dagenham and Redbridge on Saturday. It's a huge game for them. They're fighting for their lives at the bottom end of the table, so it's going to be a nervous afternoon.
Yeah, it'll be tough. We've just got to go full of confidence and belief. They're going to be really dogged, really difficult to beat, because that's how they've got to be. And we'll just have to see how the game pans out. I mean, they're a team that were extremely strong at the start of the season, got some real great quality in there. Obviously, I think they lost the keeper, didn't they, earlier on? Obviously, we've lost Ethan, and we know the effects of that on us, so they probably felt that. But listen, they're a very good team. Look at the FA Cup run they had. They're very competent at beating anyone in this division, and we can't take anything for granted, as we found when we went to Ebbsfleet. It's going to be really tough. There's a lot to play for, high stakes, and I said to the players today, big players turn up to big games like this, and we needed them, and they're going to have to do it again next week.
Yeah, looking back at the game at the J. Davidson Stadium, they came on the back of 3 victories, I think, including a 7-1 victory over Weymouth, and they were very good on the night. It was a close game. It just shows how mad this National League is.
Yeah, it's a really tough division, as we're seeing every week. The bottom teams are beating the top teams. I mean, Fylde went and drew with Rochdale today. You saw that one coming. So it's really tough, and you've got to be on your mettle. You've got to be almost perfect every week, because if anything goes against you, it's really tough. And that's all we can do. We've stayed as positive as we can. We've been as realistic with the situation. We've tried to make sure everyone understands what we're up against, and every team in this division have got all their own hardships. All I've ever done is pointed out what we're going through. I understand it's different for different teams. But yeah, we show good resilience to bounce back there, because the lads could have easily felt sorry for themselves with the way it's been going. Come to Halifax, who've had a really strong season again under Chris, and they do great here. I like to think we're quite similar in terms of what we've got to work with. They've got a fantastic stadium, probably an envy of us. Our pitches are probably similar. Theirs looks in a little bit of better condition. And then budgetary, what Chris does is fantastic. Here, everyone knows that he overachieves with the resources that he has. But I wouldn't say we're too far ahead either, although some of the fans think differently. I'm not quite sure why that is, because we'd have a brand new stadium, I think, if we had all this money. But yeah, there's not a great deal between the clubs, even though there's quite a bit of distance. Everyone knows everyone. It's quite it's not a local derby, but it feels like that because of the close proximity of the players and the staff. We all know each other fairly well. So, as I said, they've been really interesting games, and thankfully we've come out the right side of it this time.
Yeah, saw a few Halifax fans having a bit of a go at the end, a good bit of banter, and was that what that was all about? The fact that they think Alty have got big finances?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure where it's coming from. We've sold a few players, lads, and we've reinvested in our team, so that's been the case. We haven't been able to do it this time, as you can see, because we haven't got any what you class as big names. We've recruited from the northwest counties on Lucas Weaver, if you look at them types of players. So yeah, when we've had chance to invest, we have. But as I said, I'm sure there's not a great deal between us. But we know when we come here, it's always a tough game, and when they come to us, so we've done really well to come out the right side of that result against a really tough, gritty outfit. Who were well managed and really well supported, even though they're giving me a little bit today, but they are.
We were fortunate to have the luxury of being able to bring on a couple of late substitutions, and fantastic to see Ollie Crankshaw coming on, even if it was just for a few minutes.
Yeah, a little bit of a cameo for Ollie, just to get him a feel for it. I just felt it was really low risk. He wanted to give it a go. There's no way that I'd risk Ollie if he didn't want to do it. It's got to be his decision now, because we're so close to the end of the season. He could easily just sit back and not want to contribute and see what next season brings for him, but he's desperate to help the team, and it was just good for him in a low pressure scenario where he's not going to do a lot of defending, where he could find his feet, get a feel for what it's like to get back on the pitch. And it's a big thank you to him for all of his hard work that he's shown, and I'm just delighted that we were able to give him that little bit of a moment there.